This is Grandmaster Damian Lemos, and in this introduction, we are gonna start by analyzing a game between the former world champion Garry Kasparov against wouldn. So let's get started. White plays d4, and black plays knight to f6. As white, usually we play c4, so then we want to build up strong center. Black plays e6, and when he plays a move order like this, that means he wants to play, the Nimzo Indian defense by playing bishop b4. That happens if we play knight c3 as white. After knight c3, black's idea is to play bishop b4, the Nimzo Indian. I like the idea, because what black wants to do here is he wants to destroy our pawn structure by playing bishop takes c3 check, and then usually we have to take back with the b pawn. As white, we'll have the bishop pair, but black is gonna destroy our pawn structure. So from the positional point of view, he'll have an edge, but also the bishop pair, it's a nice weapon. Usually in open positions, having the bishop pair, it's a good thing. And the other advantage of this move order for black is if he wants to play in the queen's gambit style, he can play d5 here. And if he wants to play the queen's Indian, after knight f3, he can still play b6. And here he's playing the queen's Indian defense, which is interesting as well. It's quite similar to the Nimzo. But, well, as you'll see in this game, Kasparov plays knight c3. Usually as white here, our idea is playing e4. So here, by playing bishop b4, black is stopping it. Now the e4 square is under attack. So here white plays e3. This is a solid way of facing the Nimzo Indian. The other move white can play, queen c2, it looks like the best way of playing against the Nimzo, because by playing queen c2, which is the Capablanca variation, we are also protecting our pawn structure. I mean, if he castles, for instance, we can play a3. We are attacking this bishop, and when he takes, then we can just take back with the queen. But here, our pawn structure is still there. I mean, it's not broken. And we still, we also have the bishop pair advantage. This is the main line, and obviously black here, he's got some development, because, we have been moving our queen too much. But, this is playable, I think. Queen c2 is the big test for black in the Nimzo. e3, it's supposed to be solid too. It's quite flexible for white as well. We're gonna play with this bishop inside the pawn chain, but we have the chance of developing our pieces. We can play something like bishop d3 and knight g2, or we can play bishop d3 plus knight f3 as well. We are just developing our pieces, following the opening rules. And here black plays b6 before castling. Kasparov plays bishop to d3. This makes a lot of sense. And bishop to b7. Quite interesting. So here in this game, Kasparov plays f3, which looks like a nice way of stopping this bishop. I mean, now we don't have to care about the e4 square as white, because this square is under control. And well, we are blocking this bishop on b7 successfully. Probably we can develop our knight bie2 here. And in the future, I think, as white, we could think about playing e4 too. So then we win more space. So here, black plays an aggressive move, which is knight to h5. He's not castling here. He plays his knight h5, but once we see a move like this, moving the knight twice in the opening and moving this knight to the corner, it's clear that black wants to play something, like queen h4 maybe. This check would be annoying, something like queen h4 check, followed by knight to c3 maybe. If we play something like bishop d2, check. This would be annoying, and then he can play knight c3, and he's getting the rook because, the h2 pawn is under a pin. Maybe, black is trying to play something like this. Yeah, I guess queen h4. He wants to check us here. That's clear. And if we play something like knight e2, he can still play this, I think. Because here we have to move the king. And then if we move the king, we lose the right to castle. And that is not great, of course. We don't want to play with the king in the center. And if we play c3, this is what, black wants to see. Because now this diagonal is weak. He can always move the queen to h3, or he can always go back. The queen is not like the pawn. The pawn, the pawn can't go back, but the queen, for instance, can go, to d8, e7, f6, as many times as he wants. But this pawn on c3, we would love to put this pawn back on c2. So I guess those are black's ideas when he plays knight to h5. However, Kasparov plays this nice move, knight to h3. We are also moving the knight to the corner, but we'll see we have some advantages here when we play knight h3. Basically, we want to play this knight to f2. As you'll see here, black plays f5, but if he goes check. Queen h4 check, the thing is we can just play knight to f2. And the thing is we don't lose the right to castle, and he can't go knight c3, because here we just take, and the rook on h1 is being protected, so this trick is not working. It's not working for black. And it's like this is not making any sense. He's just wasting tempos, because we don't have to play c3 here. We are still blockading, and we are still blockading this bishop on b7 successfully. So I like this knight h3. Nice defending maneuver. He plays f5. I think he's trying to stop us from playing something like e4, and that makes sense. But here as white, we play bishop d2. Nice move, because here we are also protecting our pawn structure. Now if he takes on c3, we are gonna be ready to take back, with the bishop on d2, and we'll have a nice bishop on c3. He castles, and another great move by white by playing queen e2. We are still not showing our cards here. We play queen e2, and we have the chance of castling queenside or kingside. By delaying, castle here, That is great. But once we know his king is here at kingside, it would be a smart idea to castle at queenside. Then kings are gonna be at opposite sides, and usually when you have kings at opposite sides, like our king on c1 and his king on c8, when we have a situation like this, we can try pushing our pawns at kingside to open lines and fire an attack. We can do this, because our king is not there. If we castle short, for instance, let us say here we play this, then I don't think we are going to play a move like c4, because then we are just pushing pawns in front of our king, and that is too risky. On the other hand, if our king is here, then we'll try playing something like this for sure. Sooner or later, our target is his king, and we have two powerful bishops to follow the attack. So we'll see here, after queen e2, black plays a c5, which is interesting. He's attacking the center, but he's not developing much. Probably he can play something else. Queen h4 would be interesting in a position like this. Check. However, we are not trading queens here as white, because we are not interested in trading queens. We just want to attack here. We can play this, probably. That was our idea. Still defending everything. Knight c3 is not working. So, as we said before, I think queen h4 is not making any sense. Maybe he can continue developing, but thing is, our center is stronger here. f5 could be considered as center, but I think this is better. We are controlling big squares here. When he plays a c5, I love this move, d5, winning more space, and again we are blocking bishop's b7 diagonal. Here, black decides to play bishop takes c3, and as you'll see in this position, black is gonna win a pawn, because after bishop takes c3 he can take, then he's winning a pawn. This bishop, it's guarding the d5 square. If we take, he's gonna take back, he's gonna have a powerful bishop, and he can continue with a move like knight c6, and he's got a decent position here. The only drawback for black here is, okay, he's up a pawn, but look at our bishops. We have the bishop pair, and the bishop pair, it's usually a big advantage in open positions like this. So let's see how we can play here to continue the attack as white. Kasparov plays, he castles queenside, and despite being down a pawn here, our development it's good. And like I said, we don't care about material much, but our bishops and our initiative, it's gonna be more important. Black decides to play queen e8 here, and this is interesting because he's placing the queen in the same file as our queen, and he's also defending this knight on h5. If he takes, I guess he's helping us, open lines here in the center and at kingside, and playing d5 is not help, because after this, the pin is there, this pin is there, he can't play queen c5 check. It's like, we're just taking our material back, and his position is not improving much. So, if he takes on c4, he's just helping us win more material. So, queen e8 makes sense. And rook c1. Well, we are getting the rook out of this diagonal, and this makes a lot of sense because, as we said before, our idea is to, push c4. We want to push c4, and that is making our diagonals stronger. He takes.
Check.
We take back, and this is a check, so we like it. King h8. And here, we don't have to fear, opening the f file or this diagonal. We just play c4. The thing is, we have a much stronger development. And again, his king is in serious trouble here. The position is just too open. And this should favor our bishop pair. He has to take. And here the amazing thing is white takes with the rook. He's not taken with the pawn. This makes more sense, but the thing is, okay, we are attacking the knight, we are winning the tempo, but we are closing the c file. This could be interesting. But, well, maybe here we have to consider bishop f3 as well. But, the concept is we are closing the c file, and we don't want this. By playing rook takes, we are putting a lot of pressure on c7. In fact, if he plays bishop takes f3, we have a monster move here, which is rook takes c7. Amazing move. If he takes the queen, then we can just mate him.
Checkmate.
By playing rook c8. See again, our two bishops are just too powerful. This is mate already. And if he plays here knight takes rook, we can just threat this again. We want to mate him. So this is not any help. After this, we can take.
Check.
And here the thing is, material-wise it's equal, but his pieces are lacking coordination. We threat this. He can't move this knight yet because of queen takes d7. He's completely losing here, mainly because his king is still open. And that is, making the difference. After rook takes c4 here, he plays knight f6. But then as white, we just play rook d1, sacrificing the rook again. But, as he has few pieces defending his king, we can afford playing like this. He takes the rook anyway. Yeah, he couldn't defend, c7 by playing rook f7 or rook c8, because we have a bishop there. And the other bishop is still guarding this diagonal. Knight takes c4, rook takes. Now bishop takes c7 mate. It's the threat. So he plays rook f6. Black still keeps his extra pawn, but problem is here, after this simple variation, we're gonna just win material. And the thing here is, material-wise, we can tell, Black is not losing yet, but he still has same problems he had before. His king, too lonely, no pieces defending it.
Check.
The rest should be a matter of technique, and we'll see here Kasparov plays it quite well after queen c4 check. We give a check and we take the chance of bringing our queen to the action. King f8, queen h4, targeting, these two pawns which are weak. After king c7, knight to f4, knight c6, and knight h5. Here black resigns. He's obviously losing too much. And here if he played bishop takes f3, guarding the h5 square, problem here is we can just catch the bishop by playing queen g3.
Check.
And then we play queen takes f3, of course. The thing in this game is, as white, we played creative, when we castle queenside. We were sacrificing a pawn, but then we had two powerful bishops. And it's amazing that, after our sacrifices, they were successful because our two bishops were just too much, for black's king there. So this was a short example, but definitely worth analyzing. I hope you enjoyed this game, and we're going to continue analyzing in next videos. Thank you.